Ew, see, I have the chills now. That's weird. Hey Pipsqueaks, welcome back to my channel. My name is Miranda. If you're new here, today we're going to be reacting to top 10 kids who remember their past life. Now, I don't know how much I believe in past lives and stuff, just because I believe that once you die, you go to heaven. So I'm not sure about this, but I think it is interesting. I just don't know how much I believe. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna watch this, see our thoughts. But before we do that, we're gonna get to our shout outs. Every video we ask a question, your guys' answers get featured in the next video. So last video's question was, how long do you think you could last in a horror movie? And here are some of the answers across the screen. I'm not sure how long I would last. I would like to say I'd run out of it super fast, so not long. But that's just because I'm smart and would run away from it. But thank you guys for answering. In today's video question is, what is the spookiest ghost story you've ever heard? It could be something your grandma told you, it could be something your friend told you, it could be something you heard at a party, it could be like a mystical creature one. Let me know down below to be featured in the next video, and maybe if we have enough, I will make a whole video on just your scariest stories. Just let me know if you want it in a story time in your answer. And before we get started, if you guys like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, follow me on socials so we can become friends. I have merch here. It's like normal all year merch, and then I have this one, which is obviously Halloween merch. So if you want to be matching with me this year, go ahead and get some, and let's just get started with this video.
Children honestly have a mind of their own. Like, sometimes they
I
don't
didn't
even
know they
have
had
a filter.
multiple hosts
They
on
just
this. We
say what's on
reacted
their
to one of
mind,
their
which
videos
results in them
before. The
saying hilarious
Teletubbies
things,
one.
or even quite strange and unnerving things. But would you believe your kid if they started talking about their past life? About living somewhere else with another family? Or would you just say that they had a wild
I have a
imagination?
theory. I don't think it's
Hello,
imagination.
what's up?
I mean, it
What's
could be.
going
Some of
on?
them
And
could be,
welcome
but I
back to Most
think
Amazing Top 10.
some of
Hope y'all are
them
doing
could be
good.
like
I'm
maybe
your
the
host,
ghost
Lindsay
telling
Ivan,
them their
and today
story, and they'll be like,
I'm bringing
oh,
you
okay,
the
and then they
top
start to
10
say it
kids
like
who
it was
remember
theirs.
their
I don't know,
past
just a
lives.
theory
Now, let me
on some
start
of
this
them.
video by saying that researcher Jim B. Tucker believes that usually between the ages of 2 to 6, when the children are still developing, that's when it's said that they will begin to make claims about their past lives. After that, it may be harder because then a child's brain begins to mature and any early memories that they may have are harder to access. Starting off at number 10, we have the Russian kindergartner. Now, this story surrounds a girl who was Russian in her past life. Her mother claims that when her daughter was learning the alphabet, she kept mixing up her letters. She would mix up her B's and V's and H's and N's. These letters aren't that similar, so it left her and her teacher confused, especially since her daughter kept saying, "I don't remember those." This little girl then states that she remembers the letter H and that it makes an N sound. Then she said that she knew more letters and began to write out the Russian alphabet. Her mom asked her where she learned that, and she said, "Vlad taught me before he disappeared," and not Vlad the vampire. This little girl claimed that Vlad was her brother in her past life. How freaky! Like, there's no way that this young girl just happened to know the Russian alphabet, unless it was from her past life. At number 9, we have the daughter who just wants to go home.
I'm sure to some of you that answer probably sounds just as crazy as they remember their past life. You guys let me know your thoughts on that down below.
Where her home was, she said that she used to live near the water with her other family. That was until one day she passed away. She would even draw pictures of her past home and retell memories of her watching the waves. She also refers to her mom as Pa and wants to go back home to her other Mahi. Moving on to number 8, we have the boy and the Scottish pub. Just like the title suggests, this story takes place in a pub in Scotland. When a 4-year-old and his family stopped at a pub in a small village in Cairngorms, the little boy recognized the pub immediately and said, "My favorite place." The boy was able to direct his dad to the bathroom in the pub, which was said to be hidden behind a wall and not even labeled. Then the little boy kept saying how much he loved this pub and sitting beside the fire. But there was no fireplace. But the boy insisted that there used to be one against a certain wall. Then he continued to talk about more details of the pub and about the owner and his friend Fred. Bar staff then said that his claims were correct. Fred was the owner there, but passed away 10 years ago. Okay.
See? A
Wow.
ghost.
Either this kid has been sneaking out and partying it up at this pub, or he truly did go there in his past life. Moving on to number 7, we have the boy who is his own grandfather. Yeah, you heard me correctly. This boy claims to be the reincarnation of his grandfather. A year before Gus Taylor was born, his grandfather had passed away. However, when the baby was 18 months, he started referring to himself as his own grandfather, Grandpa Augie. When he was 4, he could point out his grandpa in photographs, despite never even seeing him before. Gus would also talk about his sister. Now, the grandfather's sister had been murdered, and they always kept that from Gus. But somehow, he already knew this detail and would continuously talk about his past sister. Creepy. And also super confusing. So the grandfather was the dad to Gus's mom, but his mom gave birth to her dad, the grandfather? That's so weird. Next up at number 6, we have Cameron McCauley. Now there is a short little documentary on Cameron in case you are wondering and want to check it out as well. So basically, when Cameron was 2 years old, he kept saying that he had another life on a remote island called Bara. Now, Cameron was from Glasgow, but Bara is an hour flight away, approximately 220 miles from Glasgow. For 3 years, Cameron kept talking about his family in Bara. He said he had brothers and sisters and even had a black and white sheepdog. He said he remembers living in a white house near the beach and remembers planes landing nearby. He even remembers the view outside from his house's window. Cameron began missing his family so much that he would become super upset. That's when they ended up going to Bara to find his home. When they did find his home, it had the same view that Cameron described and was apparently even home to the same dog. However,
now that's sketchy.
Cameron said he had a father named Shane Robertson that passed away from getting hit in a car. This is the one thing that doesn't check out. Apparently there was never a Shane Robertson that lived there, so who's Shane? Honestly, maybe it was his father from like 2 lives ago. Who even knows? We are now at our halfway mark with Shanti Devi. Shanti Devi was born in 1926 in India. When she was 4 years old, she started making claims about her real name, her other family, and her past life. Apparently, she told her parents that she lived 145 kilometers away in a place called Mathura with her husband Kedar Nath. She also said that she died after giving birth to her child. Apparently, she even had the same talking habits as someone from Mathura. Her family eventually took her to the other village and found the man she claimed to be her husband by the name of Kedar Nath. Kedar then told them that he did lose his wife 9 years ago, 10 days after delivering their son. Now, Kedar was skeptical of this girl's claims, so when he went to go meet Shanti, he pretended to just be his brother. But Shanti instantly recognized him as her husband from her past life. Next on my list at number 4, we have James Leanger. Born in 1998, when James was 2, he claimed to be a lieutenant and passed away when his plane was shot down. Now, just like any other parent would do, they just brushed it aside, saying that he had a wild imagination. But then he kept describing accurate information. When they researched into this plane crash, they found that there was an American pilot named Lieutenant James Houston Jr. who passed away in 1945 towards the end of World War II. First off, what are the odds that he gets reincarnated and his parents literally picked the same name? Now, the boy continued to talk about his ship, the Natoma, which was also true. He would also have reoccurring nightmares about an airplane crash. His parents then met Lieutenant James's crew, who are all old by now, but they confirmed the details that James mentioned, saying that they were all accurate and only the lieutenant and the crew could have known some of the details. Coming in at number 3, we have
That's weird. It's weird, I'm not gonna lie, it's weird.
He was 4 years old when he claimed that he was a soldier from World War I. He kept saying that he passed away after taking a bullet to the throat. In fact, Edward continuously would get sore throats and would say that his shot wound was hurting. Doctors couldn't even explain why he was constantly getting these sore throats, and in fact, he even developed a cyst in his throat at one point. Eventually, the cyst mysteriously went away on its own after Edward started talking more about his past life. He claims that he was a soldier named James that was 18 years old. He has vivid memories from his past life that he would share with his family. One day he said, and I quote, "We were walking along through the mud. It was damp, it was cold. My rifle is heavy. I remember looking out and seeing trees, and then there was desolation. I heard a shot come from behind. It went through someone else, hit me square in the back of the neck, and I felt my throat fill with blood. There's no way a 4-year-old could have made up those details.
Those words?
Especially since his parents claim that they've never let him watch any soldier or war-related movies or shows. Next up at number 2, we have the boy from Thailand. Chennai was 3 years old when he started having memories of his past life. This 3-year-old boy remembers being a teacher named Bua Kai. He talked about his previous family, wife, and children. He said that he passed away after being shot in the head while walking to school. What's freaky is that this boy has 2 birthmarks on his face. One on the back of his head and one above his left eye. Those are the exact spots where the bullet entered and exited Bua Kai's head.
Ew,
now, people believe that
see,
birthmarks
I have
tell
the
some sort of
chills
story
now.
from
That's
our
weird.
past lives. In this case, it symbolizes how he was killed in his past. Now,
I have a birthmark in the back
of
my head.
That passed away about 5 years before Chennai was born. Coming in at number 1, we have the boy who solved his own murder.
Whoa,
when a boy in Syria Golden Heights
sketchy,
was 3, he began saying that he had
shiny
been murdered in his past life. The boy said that he was killed by getting an axe to his head. This boy even had a long red birthmark on his head. In this boy's case, the birthmark also showed the way that he passed away. Now, it turns out that this boy's story checked out. They took him to the village that he said he once lived in and even showed his family where his body was buried. When they unearthed his body, they found a boy's skeleton with an axe wound in the skeleton's skull. Like, there's no way that a kid could have just known where a body was buried by coincidence. But it doesn't stop there. The kid also remembered who the killer was and his full name. They then confronted him and he eventually admitted to the crime. Alright, that's all I have for you today.
That's weird. I have what? I almost said a bullet mark. I have a birthmark on the back of my head. It makes my hair like Anna, so there's just a very blonde stripe through my hair. Let me know your thoughts on that down below. I'm not too sure. Like I said, I don't really believe in that kind of stuff, but I've never had proof of it, so it's interesting. So you let me know your thoughts on that. But that's all for this video. If you guys like it, make sure to like, subscribe, follow me on social so we can become friends. Answer the question down below to be featured in the next video, and I will see you guys then. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!